Hi folks, I'm in the Mindfulness Garden, the therapy garden at Horton Community Farm, and yeah, I'm just here with an apple tree, and yeah, I've walked through the park. I've just been observing the trees in the park and giving my thanks for all that they do for us. So it's very interesting coming into the farm here because it's an allotment site, and our project is Horton Community Farm, and it is a land permaculture centre, and the strapline, if you like, is an inspirational land permaculture centre for food growing and community resilience. So reflecting on that a little, we've put food growing at the heart of it, alongside this idea of community resilience. Now, at the moment, as much as ever, this concept is really pertinent. So what is resilience and how can we build it? It's a question I've been pondering for a very long time. And it's a question that we try to find answers to here at the farm through the projects that we offer, and working with the 5 ways to well-being, which I've talked about in this email series a bit before. So the 5 ways to well-being are to give, to learn, to connect, to take notice or be aware, and what's the last one? To give, to connect, to learn, to notice. It'll come back to me. And so yeah, so we're working with these 5 ways to well-being. And yeah, to be perfectly honest, my brain's a bit foggy today, but I will come back to it. And yeah, the point really is that any one of these alone, perhaps wouldn't build resilience. To have an area of food, we need many plants, we need many trees, we need ideally many people, or at least a group of people that you can rely on. And the idea of self-sufficiency here in the north of England is, well, it's not very realistic for most people. Most people don't have access to land. So anyway, so this video really is about the idea of resilience and looking at nature for ideas about resilience. So resilience it's like a muscle. So building resilience as though we're building a muscle is we need to return to a practice again and again and again. And for plants, they need strong roots, they need the right conditions, and humans, we're the same. So I've been looking at trees a lot lately because they're large, can be large structures, and they take a different view of time. Trees take many, many years to get established and to give fruit. And and if we think about ourselves in a similar way, this idea of resilience, well, it's something that we build from when we're very young, and we can continue to build or start to build later in life, and it's a practice. So I like the idea of thinking like a tree. There is a book of this name which I haven't actually read yet, but the idea that we take our roots deep down, we spread them out wide. Sometimes they're near the surface, sometimes they're further under the ground. We have branches, we have many leaves that can capture the sun for us. if we're creating flowers and fruits, then we need the nutrients to do that. So just, I guess, broadening our perspectives about what it means to be healthy. I think resilience is a good word. So it means the ability to bounce back. It means the ability to pass through difficult times and come out the other side. And generally, if we give ourselves the right kind of nurture, we can sometimes come back stronger. That's not always the case, but in the same way that wind blowing through the leaves and branches of a tree and the movement that creates can be part of what creates heartwood, that this is the same for humans. If we are able to weather difficult times, then we are likely to come out stronger and more resilient. So part of my offering today is to spend some time noticing trees around you, noticing their structure, noticing how they interact, so how the wind moves them, what happens when the rain falls on them, where does the sun fall on them, and just using this as a metaphor to think about ourselves and how we respond to our environments. Funnily enough, the fifth way to well-being is to take action. And it doesn't necessarily mean rushing around, being super active all the time, but it means when we are moved by something, if there's something we want to change, or if we need to practice to get this muscle of resilience, we need to act. And so acting can become a thoughtful activity, not just a distraction. But the idea is something like taking regular exercise, or for activists, taking action against things that they don't want to see happening. So these are the kind of actions that we can take in our daily lives. Acts of kindness. So one of the upsides of the lockdown is seeing the numerous acts of kindness, people connecting more broadly in their communities, and acting with kindness, acting with purpose. We've planted numerous fruit trees across the site at Horton Community Farm, and recently we've planted some nut trees as well. Now these take a long time to fruit, but we're not always acting in the short term. We're acting for future generations and for the community, for this piece of land. Taking a broader view of time, our actions over time. If we look at our actions over time, if we have regular habits, or we have purpose for our actions beyond our own lifetimes, then things take a different meaning. Similarly, if we look at the spaces that we inhabit, trees are very interesting because they inhabit an awful lot of space above. So very large trees, the canopies can be enormous, and yet the trunk is not necessarily very large at all, and then there's the roots underground. So we may not inhabit a huge amount of space in our daily lives, but our canopies can grow tall, and our roots can stretch deep and far and wide. I suppose I'm just kind of playing with the metaphor of trees, as they're known in Indigenous wisdom, the standing ones. So they stand firm and strong and still throughout all weather, and are able to create heartwood by weathering the different weather. So if you get the chance, go and spend some time with a tree, or bring to mind your favourite tree, a memory of a tree, and make sure you give thanks as well for all the amazing things that trees do for us. And I hope something in this video is useful, and stay well, look after yourselves. Okay, thank you.